here coming to you live on TikTok. I'm also coming to you live on YouTube and on, get this right, and on on Periscope. The address on YouTube is youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. On Periscope, it's pscp.tv Dallas Trading Floor. And also on TikTok, we're at tiktok.com/@Dallas Trading Floor. So it just defies defies gravity. This market it just keeps moving higher and higher and higher. I sent out a flash alert on Netflix. That one went lower. So I actually didn't enter it. I always take everything I send out with a word of caution. I do think it will come back. I looked at it this morning. I was going to enter the trade, but instead I went with my old friend Tesla, and I think it went pretty good. Just wanted to show you kind of what's happening in today's market, and that basically is this. I mean, here we are. Here we are once again. The NASDAQ is at 98.38.57. It's up 0.25% again. Amazing. S&P is up. Dow Jones is up. I mean, I've heard it said that supposedly we're going to go up. The S&P should be hitting some resistance at 3,500, but it doesn't seem to be hitting any resistance right now. So we are in a confirmed uptrend, and it's just not a good time to be short. That's all. It's just not a good time to be short right now. So I am definitely long. Just wanted to show you kind of what's happening with Tesla. Tesla is in the buy range. Well, it's just above the buy range right now. This morning I was able to get back in at 916, which is a little bit higher than the buy range. The buy range, of course, being 5% from the buy point, which is 869.92, up to 913.42. Very, very powerful uptrend. Again, cup with handle, and this is a very, very good chart pattern, as you probably all well know. Very strong chart pattern that we have, cup with handle on Tesla. What I did this morning is I came back into the market. I closed my position on Friday. I was called out because I had, believe it or not, an 880 call on it. I had previously bought the shares for less than 880, and then I was called out. This morning, I came back into the market, bought some Tesla shares at 916. Then I sold a 925 call. Very nice premium on that, 24.75. It's basically a 5-day trade ending on Friday. So hopefully it moves above that 925 mark. That would be great. If it does, then it's going to be very, very good. As you can see, just very strong. The volume not only is it up almost 5%, which is $40 on this share, but it's up. The volume is up 35%. So, and look at this composite rating, 96. Unbelievable. So it's just one of those things. It's just a very, very strong trade. Here's the trade that I made on that, so that you can definitely take a look at it. My 5-day trade basically starts today, 8/8/2020. It's basically a 5-day trade from Monday through Friday. The cost of my shares were $91,864, and the proceeds from the contract, the option premium, it was a $24.75 option, so the premium was $2,475. I have basically a $636 upside potential profit of $31.11. So my cost of my shares are in here, and then it's a 7% return on the option, and then this should be 0.7. I'm sorry here. This should be 0.7. Basically, the total return 3.4% for the 4 days, or if you annualize it, a pretty nice return if you annualize that profit. So I'm getting there we go. Okay, so you can see that better now. That's better up there. So let's see. Next slide. Basically, it's up strong, and then that shows you my trade. I also today went into the XOP because I do think. Oh, there we go. I went into the XOP. This is the ETF that covers the production of oil, and it looks, even though the price of oil is down, it looks like the oil market is recovering. Nice. It's $7,000. Fantastic. You made $7,000 on Nicole. That is super duper. One of the viewers on TikTok. Fantastic. Love it. When people are making money, I am overjoyed, believe me. Because believe me, there's so much money in this market. There's money for everybody. So it's just, please share your success with everyone out there. It's exciting to hear it. The XOP, it's up $6.49, which for an ETF trading at $70 is tremendous. That's up over 10%. The volume is up. It's almost double. It's almost 100% up on the volume. Seems like it's retaking. I believe I'll probably be in it from about this $70 range up to about 76. That's sort of where I see it. I did sell a 70 call, and I received a premium on that. I think it was about a $3.50 premium on that, and it's basically a 2-week trade. But this is my second position. Again, I don't typically trade more than about 8 positions at a time, but this is the second position that I have. I was, as we talked, I was preparing a bull call spread on Boeing, which is just zoomed up in the market. I want to show you that chart as well. Look at this spider. This is the S&P 500 ETF. It's the world's largest ETF. It is just unbelievable. It's moved past the 310 price, and this is a very key level, I believe. I do think that, it's not a good idea to fight the tape. I think we're going higher. I think we're going much higher, and it may come all the way back up to where it was, about 330, potentially. So it's just amazing how it truly is it looks like it truly is a V-shaped recovery. And as the economy reopens, I think it's going to be, it's going to be stellar. That's all I can say. I think it's going to be stellar. Look at the chart on Boeing. This is just, this is beyond belief. This is the 40-day moving average here, as you can see, and it is just on fire. It's 229.70 right now, up 24.27, basically 11%. This is amazing because, there may be some question on whether or not they get the MAX back into production. And still, the airline industry is very, very, it's still very constrained. I mean, but people have been making very serious money on Boeing and on American Airlines. I'm not in either issue right now. I did short during the downturn. I did short down to the $90 level, which is basically its bottom. But then I didn't come back. I came back in briefly, but I got out on the stock. So currently I'm not in Boeing. I'm looking possibly, depending on how it holds up after this announcement, possibly to do a trade on that. So just for that. So I'm on 3 platforms currently: YouTube, TikTok, and Periscope. And also, if you want to subscribe to our alerts list, I have that up on the screen. It's www.dallastradingfloor.com, and that's the list there. So I'm going to switch over here, and let's see, take some questions. Hopefully, I have some questions here. If I get my cursor over there, it would help, wouldn't it? All right. So first question. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. XY, you shared Friday, up 5%. Great. Okay, nice. Super duper. Really, really like hearing the success here. I just love it when people are successful. I just want to share this with you. This is a recommendation that I made on Friday. I'm so glad somebody took advantage of this. I think it's a super stock. The way I was able to find out about this was I was looking, and this is what I always look towards. I look to see where the funds are acquiring and what the hot sector is, and this definitely worked this time. And thank you so much for sharing that. I so appreciate it. It's I appreciate that. By the way, you can definitely get, anybody out there can get stock alerts and that kind of thing just by going to my site and just put in your information, and I'll put you on the list. If you don't, it's free, and if you want to get, if you don't want to see my stuff anymore, you can just unsubscribe. So it's just out there to maybe share some of the trades that I have going on, and some of the things that I've seen coming up that I want to share. So that's really what it's all about. Okay, so cool. So Tesla has succeeded by, well, yes, and this is a question on TikTok. Tesla has exceeded a buy point. So what I would do on Tesla on this, if you want to buy Tesla, and I definitely think it's worth looking to buy, what I would do on this is I would set a limit order, and the limit order amount that I would sell, and I'll show you this on the screen. Let me see if I can, let's see if I can push this up so you can see this on the screen. By the way, I'm simulcasting on Periscope and on YouTube. Periscope, pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor, and YouTube, youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. Anyways, what I would do on this one, because the buy point is 913.42, that's the range, basically 869.92. What I would do is try this. Try to set a limit order for 913.42. Try to set a limit order for 913.32. I suspect that Tesla will drop a little bit because it fluctuates. It's a very volatile stock, and it probably will drop down to that amount. If you set a buy order, if you set a buy limit order anywhere from 869.92 to 913.42, that's going to be your optimum range for buying this, just based on the chart. But I do think that's a good way to do it. Don't think that just because it's exceeded its buy point, that's it, it'll never come back. That's not always the way, because usually what it'll do is it'll move up to the buy point and then it'll back off a little bit. So that might be a way that you can get in on the buy point. The advantage of getting in a buy point is that you limit you get a little bit more downside protection based on volatility. And the rule basically is the buy point plus 5%. That's really what the rule is on this to get in there. And what I do is I further hedge my positions typically by selling a call to hedge the downside, and then I also put in a stop loss. So I try to really hedge in case I'm wrong. And I'm not always wrong, but I am wrong and this is a way that you can minimize your downside risk. And that's really important, is to make sure that you limit your downside risk in getting into these. So let's see. Marvel, MRVL. Let me just take a quick look at that. Let me take a quick at MRVL and just give you the MRVL. Let's see. Let me give you a play on that. Okay, Marvel Technology Group. Yeah, it's down 99 cents after hours. It's got a very good chart, but I would wait to buy this one, and the reason is it looks like it's setting up. A buy point, but it's not at a buy point yet. This is a watch list. Definitely strong, very strong semiconductor group. 94 is composite rating. That's really good. Anything above a 90 is pretty really good on pretty good on that. Hertz short. I wouldn't touch Hertz right now, Bobby, only because bankruptcies are really hard to play, because you never know. I mean, you would think it would be a short, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with an obvious short like that, and this is always a danger, is that you might have some white knight coming in buying their assets, which I think is very likely with Hertz, and then you're going to have a short squeeze. And so I don't want to get into a situation where you're a short squeeze. I wouldn't move against the tape. This is kind of a tough call. This is just my own personal opinion. So, for whatever it's worth, I don't like to move against the tape. Right now, the tape is up. and I don't want to be short. And that's just how I'm playing it, just because I don't want to be caught in any of these short squeezes. They can be very nasty, and you can be right, but you can be right just at the wrong moment. And believe me, it's happened to me a bunch of times. I typically like to take a counter position to the short squeeze. If there's a short squeeze, if the short interest is more than about 20%, I'm looking possibly to be long, because that's what happened with Tesla in January and February. I was long Tesla. The short interest was high. There was a blow off top because of a short squeeze, and I did very well. So you just want to be careful when you have a lot of short interest, and definitely you have a lot of short interest in Hertz. Thoughts on Luckin Coffee? Wow. Unfortunately, Luckin Coffee, in every rally, there's a Luckin Coffee. I hate to say it. I'm old enough to remember Z's Best, which was a carpet cleaning company. I mean, there's been fraud as long as there's been a stock market. If get out of it now. It's a burning house. It's not going to get better with Luckin Coffee. Take your money, invest it. If you're going to want to be in the restaurants, invest it in something that's real, like Starbucks, if you're going to be in that area. I don't particularly like the restaurants, just because I think there's too much competition. Not that they aren't great businesses, well-run businesses, but the restaurant sector is a tough one, especially with even with the coronavirus. Now we're coming out of that problem. I still think it's the kind of thing where you just want to be super careful in this area, because the market is such that it's very competitive. That's just that's why is Hertz soaring? Very good question. This is a classic short squeeze. Okay, why is Hertz soaring? Well, it's soaring because there's so many people that shorted this stock, that what's happened is that now, as there's a little bit of hope that there's going to be a buyout in this bankruptcy, everybody's trying to buy back their shares so that they can cover. And that's what this is. This is a covering rally. These are very, very unpredictable. This is a short squeeze. This is not because Hertz is such a great company. People aren't working up and saying, wow, I want to be in Hertz. They're basically saying, I'm short. I have to cover my shorts. I can't get stock. I can't borrow stock. I can't buy stock. I'm having to pay more for stock in the market because it's a short squeeze. So it's a short squeeze. Thoughts on Nikola? Okay. I don't know about this one. Again, there's going to be a merger here. I haven't really given this one as much attention as I should have. I've been more oriented towards, this is really interesting. Wow, this is up $36.50, 100%. Well, I don't know. This is a classic blow off top. This is a classic blow off top. Wait, if you're not in this stock right now, if you're in Nikola right now, push your stop loss up, and I would set your stop loss at about 60, 67 or so. As this stock falls, and it probably will, you're going to see it move down quickly. And if you have a stop loss on there and you're in this stock, take your profits, because this is a short squeeze. That's what causes these tremendous. You see, stocks typically don't gap up like this unless there is a short covering going on, and that's I think what's happening here. There's some kind of short covering going on. The stock did better than people thought. There was a lot of short interest in it. A lot of shorts had to cover. That's what's pushing the stock up, I believe. So you can benefit from this if you're in the stock by pushing your stop losses up. I did this on SPCE right before earnings. I basically, wrote it up to about 42. From basically about 6, I kept pushing up my stop loss, and then when it fell back, boom, I was out. So that's something that you want to be. That's what. Here's the thing about gains that you get like this. When you get these gains, you need to protect them, because they can be fleeting. I mean, it can go up like this. It can go up $97, 97%, 100%, and then it can adjust down, and it still will be up, but it can adjust down 50% from this very easily. So you want to protect your profits, keep your stop losses, push them up, and keep them close to about, keep them about 90 to 95% off of the top, and then as the stock falls, you will benefit. So it's been absolutely crazy. I agree with you. 2 weeks till crash. Good question. You know, I can't explain this. I just can't explain this. I think what's happening is because the bond yield, but again, I'm just speculating. Bond yields are so low. There's so much cash out there. People are just saying, well, heck, I got to be in the market. It's just going crazy. Now, there's a danger when everybody and their brother and when the Uber driver starts giving you stock tips, that's the time you want to be careful, because that typically is a sign of a top. It just is. I want to show you a psychological indicator. Hopefully here, I'm going to look here at what I consider is the is a tremendous psychological indicator, and that's the bulls versus bears number, and I'm going to show that on the screen here. I'm going to hopefully in a second. And as you can see, the sentiment has just changed markedly since March. I mean, it's amazing. So let me move back to that slide here, and hopefully you can see it on the screen. So there we go. Okay, great. There it is. And as you can see, right now, the sentiment out there is bulls 53.5%, bears 23.7%. So even though everybody says the end of the world is coming, it doesn't seem to be bared out in what I'm seeing on the tape. So right now we're long. Right now we're long. Jeff, sorry, I'm coming up. I have a very small screen. I'm going to hopefully improve this soon. Uber driver giving stock tips. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, nothing against Uber drivers. Look, I'm being facetious here, but typically when you come close to market tops, everyone jumps in the market, and then everybody buys everything. This is kind of what happened around 1929. So, and of course, I'm in the market, but I'm keeping everything very short. I'm keeping my stop losses very tight. Why? Because the air can come out of the tire quickly. I don't think that's going to happen, because I do think that once this market reopens, what this Fed did so differently than any other time was they flooded the zone with liquidity, which meant that even though the economy would have stalled because of everything being closed, now that it's being reopened, it's not. I mean, yes, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. There's going to be a lot of companies that unfortunately go under, and I think that's a tragedy. But by flooding the zone with liquidity, it basically didn't stall up the whole economy. And I think that as things reopen, I think we're going to see, I think it may just go right back up. I mean, we are in election year, and I mean, I don't mean to be cynical, but typically election years are very good for stock markets, if you get my drift. Let's see, to take more often for the signs. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's see. Why did Hertz Hertz explode? It's a short cover. That's exactly why it exploded. So let's go back to, let's look at the Hertz chart. I think it's very important. HTZ. And Hertz is basically filed for bankruptcy. It's like, why would something that declares bankruptcy, why would it go up? Why would it go up 109%? Well, because the shorts are covering. That's why. That's why. And again, it closed. Tomorrow, I would be very leery. I think tomorrow it may go right back down. But this is a classic short covering. It's got a composite rating of 1, which is the worst. There's 197 different sectors that are in stocks, and they're ranked 1 to 99. 99 being the best, 1 being the worst. This is the worst This is the worst composite rating, and I think it's one of the worst sectors. So let me just check here. Yeah, it's 152 on the sectors. There's 197 sectors. It's definitely in the very bottom. It's in the basement. This stock, the reason it went up so much is because of a short cover. Basically, a lot of people had shorted this stock, and then there was something that happened. Probably, somebody was going to buy them out of bankruptcy or whatever. I don't quite know what happened. and then they had to cover those shorts. And then when they're covering those shorts, that's exactly what happened. We had essentially short covering, and short coverings can be very interesting in that they tend to move the stock up very quickly. I have the chart of it up here on the screen. Again, I'm simulcasting this on Periscope at pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor and on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So, and also of course on my favorite TikTok. I'm at JKMALNE on TikTok. Let's see. Anything? Any thoughts on energy companies like KQ? Well, here's the thing. Here's what I did. I'm not exactly sure which energy companies to buy. So what I did was I bought essentially them all, and I actually entered into this today. It's the XOP. It is an ETF that covers basically all of the E&P companies, and it's up. Boy, it's up even more. It's up almost 12% today. Wow, I didn't realize it was that good. Okay, well, I'm glad I did that. After hours, it's a little bit down. It looks like I made all my money back here very quickly. Yeah, basically what I did on this one is that I bought it right below the 70 strike price. I sold the call at 70. It expires basically in 2 weeks, and I think I definitely made all the money there. Okay, very good. This definitely gapped up. This is a good way to play the energy markets right now, because there are going to be some casualties here. Some of these companies are on very, very shaky ground. I mean, I think that I think Occidental, for instance, they've got a whole bunch of senior notes. They went hat in hand, unfortunately, to Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett lent them a few $1 billion at 13.5%, which I'm glad I don't have to pay that, because that is a heck of a lot of money. So even if the price of oil goes up to $80, I think they're screwed. So that's but also there's other companies in there that are just stellar. So that's why I went with the XOP, not trying to find winners or losers, just buying the whole sector, and that's sometimes the way you got to do it. The XOP, I think the XOP is strong, and I think, I don't know. You never can predict the future, but it looks like it's probably. Here's the thing that's interesting about the XOP, and I think you should know this. And here's part of my strategy in looking for companies that are ready to pop is I look at their options activity, especially a week and 2 weeks out from expiration, because that generally tells you the tale. If you've got a huge options premium on a stock that is basically 5 days from expiration, that means that somebody is buying the stock, and they're probably bigger than you are. So when you have those kind of actions, that's what I look for. I scan for those, and when those happen, I'm looking possibly to buy the stock and then sell it basically at the same price, and then pocket on the option. I like to do that because I think it's a very high probability trade. Typically, you typically on that kind of trade, you're going to be right 70 or 80% of the time. Now, you're not going to make all the money. You're going to make more money, of course, if you come in and you sell. You come in lower and then you hold it longer. But there's enough of these trades around that why fight the tape? Why not just come in and look to see where the juice is and then go for that? That's kind of my philosophy. Apple breaks out. Yeah, wow. This is another one. I mean, I love it. I wish I had unlimited capital right now, because AAPL, and here's the thing about Apple, everybody says, oh, it's overpriced. Yeah, I was in this at 230. and then I sold out at 280. I thought, wow, I'd really run the register on this one. It just keeps going up. And why? Because they're getting very close. Now, here's the thing about Apple. I think you ought to know this. A very important event is coming up shortly in Apple, and that's going to happen in September. And that's when they're going to announce the 5G compatible iPhone. This is going to happen about September 21st or 22nd. Because the reason is it's all a dance. They all do this all the time. The reason this is significant is because when Apple announces its 5G phone, it is going to boost sales, because it is so much more capable than their iPhones now. Their iPhones now are great. I'm probably going to have to upgrade again, which I'm resisting. I'm resisting it, but I'm probably going to have to upgrade again. I just think it's going to be tremendous, and I don't necessarily think that they're overvalued. I mean, they've got a beautiful their chart pattern looks really, really good. Here's the thing about Apple, and it may actually accelerate from here. And I know this is hard to believe, but see, when a stock like Apple, that's widely held and as profitable and valuable as it is, when it exceeds its previous high, which was basically back in the February March timeframe, when it exceeds that, then it's really in play, because basically back in February 13th, it was trading at 323, and now it's 333. So it's basically exceeded its high, and so it probably is going to go up here from here now. So, man, it's an expensive stock, but it actually may be worth it. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. I have a question. Ooh, wait a minute. All right. Well, there we go. I think it's a little funny that the only thing down right now is Netflix. Yes, exactly. Egg is on my face. Totally egg is on my face. I hyped Netflix, and boy, was I wrong. So, hey, this is why you always set stop losses. Netflix, this is down. I hyped it on Friday. I was looking at the chart. I thought, wow, this is looking good. I was going to enter the trade on Monday. I looked at the overnights. And here's one thing. I've done this for a while. I don't typically trade at the bell open. I see how it goes, and if a stock goes south, I just don't do it. If a stock and then I go to my second on my list. I've done this for a long time. I typically don't trade in the first hour, because that's when the overnight orders from the weekend, they basically clear. So if you see a trend like that moving down, it's not time to buy. I typically only buy when on an up. So I apologize for everyone on the alerts there. Sometimes you get it wrong, and I definitely got it wrong with Netflix. I think eventually Netflix will go up, but don't buy it now. Don't buy it now. Never buy a downtick. And hey, I fully own up to my mistake there. So thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it. Best time to buy. Best buy regarding home nursing. Nursing stocks. Wow, I don't. God, you know what? I don't really do anything with nursing. I can't really answer that one for you. I wish I could. I don't think I can. So let's see. Can you repeat signals you look for on options? Okay, here's the signals that I kind of look for. I'm looking basically for a stock that is going to be breaking out. Okay, how do I find that? Well, I typically look for a composite rating, typically of 90 or better. Though, I was doing this with Tesla when it was in the 80s. So, and even in the 70s. So this isn't necessarily a hard and fast rule. I'm looking for stock that's breaking out of a very good chart pattern. Typically, my favorite chart pattern, cup and handle. Just hands down. But I like 3-week tight. I also like cup without handle. There's a number of them that are very, very good. And I probably should go over this more in detail. So I'm looking for that. Then I look to the options, and I look to see at the strike price, wherever the stock is selling at. I'm looking out about a week or 2 weeks. I'm looking at that option. Is that option above 2% return for a week? If it is, then that stock is in play. And I typically like to buy that stock, because if that option is very active and the return on that option is more than 2% in a week, and at that particular price, there's a lot of buying momentum on that stock. I can almost guarantee you that. And so those are the ones that I look for. And so typically those are in the stocks that those are in the stocks that the funds are buying. It was like the call on that stock on Thursday. Basically on Friday it went up 5%. So that's what I'm looking for. That's the kind of action. That's a sort of a tell on where the funds are buying. This is only though when the market is in a confirmed uptrend. And of course, right now the market is very much in a confirmed uptrend. and you've got to know that, because that is very, very important, as to, you know, if it isn't confirmed, it really needs to be in a confirmed uptrend for this to be, you know, the way you want to go in that. So that's how I use the options chain basically to find good deals, and that's just that's kind of a fun thing that I do. All right, so let's see. Apple breaks out. Yeah, that was awesome. Can you repeat? Okay. Okay. What do you think about Boeing? Unbelievable. It's funny, as I was coming on to do this program, I was a little bit late today because I was analyzing a trade. I'm not going to make the trade now because, we had to go I had to come on here, but I'm looking to make a bull call spread on Boeing. I think it's even going higher. Analysts are saying it's going to go up to 275, 277, that range, which is incredible. It is the largest exporter in the United States, and if the economy reopens and if people start traveling again, it's a winner, because it's really a duopoly. There's really only two companies in the world that really make long range, large commercial aircraft, and that's Boeing and Airbus. Now, here's the difficulty. 3/4 of the world's fleet right now is parked, but if the economy opens up and it opens up strong, they're all going to be coming back, and there's going to be demand for more. And there's tremendous demand for air travel in Asia. It is just off the chain. I try to go there every year. It's the most important part of the world in terms of growth. And I'm not just talking China. I'm talking Southeast Asia in general, Indian subcontinent. It's just, I think we're going to see a bull market in air travel, regardless of the coronavirus. As long as people are traveling, there's going to be demand, especially in Asia. And I think that Airbus and Boeing are going to benefit from that. And we'll see. We'll see. But it's a tremendous stock. I think they need to get their house in order in their space program, because I do think that they got their clocks cleaned by SpaceX in this last launch, but it's a fundamentally good company. So there you go. I mean, you can't argue. You can't argue with it. I think Boeing does have room to go higher. It's really hard to say with Boeing because it was just beaten down so much. I mean, I was out at 150. I thought, wow, I've made some good money here, and I thought, I don't know if I want to hold it any longer, because I was afraid of it not going to near these levels. Do I think it's worth it? Well, it's up $25 today. 12.2%. Can you believe that? And after hours, it's up. So this tells me that it's going to probably try to come back to, if I were going to play this one short term, I would be looking at it coming, and I'm going to show you the chart here. I would be looking to come up to about the, I think that about the 190, the 295 level is something that you ought to consider on this one, on the daily chart. Let me push it over to the weekly chart and see if I give you a better. The weekly chart's kind of weird, but I want to look. Yeah, the daily chart's what I want to show you. I think it's right below 300 is where it's going to top out. So let me go and see if I can. There we go. There we go. And again, for everybody looking at on TikTok, I'm also simulcasting on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And please, if you go there, please like me. Like me, please. And also subscribe. And I'm also on Periscope. By the way, I love Periscope because it is just, I think it's technically superior in its presentation to YouTube. Nothing against YouTube, but I think Periscope really has it down. And it's connected to Twitter, by the way. Definitely want to take a look at it. This chart. Currently, Boeing is selling at 230. I think it has legs here. I think it's going to come up to the 200-day moving average. I would be in it probably, and I may, and I'm not in it right now, but I may be in it tomorrow, up to the 200-day moving average, which is about. It looks like it's about 280 on this. So I think it has about 50 points. The some of the big firms, some I can't remember. I think it was Jeffries that had a call on it up to 277. I think that's right. I think it's a little conservative actually, because I do think it'll come and meet that 200-day moving average. And if you could look online, I'm showing the chart on that, and you can see that basically it is blasted past the 40-day moving average. That's the red line, and then it's coming up towards this 200-day moving average. I think when it hits the 200-day moving average, it will show a little bit of resistance. As you can see, I don't know if, and I'm putting my cursor on it, but as you can see, it looks like with Boeing, as it hits that 200-day moving average, then it sees resistance. So I'm looking at a movement on Boeing from about 230, where it is now, on up to where I believe the resistance is going to be. It's going to be about 280, depending on, that's what this 200-day moving average is saying. Anyways, that's kind of saying where the resistance on Boeing is going to be. Just tremendous movement on it today, just tremendous. So that's kind of where I'd be in it. Best stocks for tomorrow. Wow. Boy, I wish I had a crystal ball on that. I think Boeing may, it may consolidate. Here's the thing about Boeing. I think it's probably going to consolidate a little bit, but the action on Boeing has just been stellar. I mean, look at that action. If you'll notice on the volume that's the lower chart here. If you can take a look and see my chart, I think I can blow it up a little bit here so you can see it. Basically, it is all blue lines. That means that this is buying pressure. This is buying pressure from funds. So it's just very, very, very bullish right now. Oh, hey, Arnold. Thanks, man. Thanks for looking at me. Thanks for looking at me on Periscope. I am a big fan of Periscope. Shout out to you, Arnold. Do appreciate you dropping by and taking a look at my ugly mug. So I appreciate that. I think we're going to see Boeing move even stronger up based on what I've seen. Now, you never can tell, of course, but there's just a lot of buying pressure on Boeing. I think what it is because, finally now it seems like there's a rotation out of the NASDAQ, which is basically represented by the QQQ, into the actually what they call the diamond. The diamond basically is the ETF that covers the Dow 30 stocks. There's only 30 stocks in the Dow, and they typically are very, as they say, they're industrial stocks. They're typically bigger companies. And they're typically older line companies. But I want to take a look at the DIA, which is the diamond. This is the ETF that covers it, and it's up strongly today, 276.29. That is a very strong showing, and it just exceeded essentially a resistance. The resistance on that was about 269, so it's above its resistance point. So this is very strong. What this means is that when the diamond is performing like this, typically that means that there is capital that is flowing into the Dow 30 stocks, and of course those are stocks such as Dow itself, DOW, Boeing, BA, and stocks like that. There's only 30 of them, but they tend to have relatively large capitalizations. I don't think it's nearly as important an index, of course, as the S&P 500. That's why I always try to start the show with showing the S&P 500 chart to show you kind of how that looks. But this is really, I think you're seeing capital again flow into the Dow. This is a good thing. This means that the rally is broadening, and so when the economy reopens, it's looking good right now. But you never can tell. These riots are terrible. Top 3 stocks. Wow, good question. That is a really good question. I think Boeing has got to be at the top of the list. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago. Not even close. Boeing is up more in this last week, this we just passed, than I think it had practically in its entire history. So I don't think that's going to abate. I think that's going to continue. It may rest a little bit, so I would be careful on the entry on that. That when a stock's going up, like the stocks never go up in a straight line. So sometimes when you buy a stock, it'll hesitate. Look at the call I made on Netflix. I mean, I called that one wrong. It's been retreating today because that's an at-home stock that people are selling now, and they're going into the more cyclicals. Now, do I think they're going to come back into Netflix? Probably, because I think that certain businesses like the theater business are in trouble. But I was wrong on that. That's the only caveat on Boeing is that you might be in a situation. Be careful when you try to always buy on an uptick. That's another thing. That's another rule that is a very good one. Is that if you're looking to buy a stock, look at how it's trading right before you buy it. Make sure that it's moving up, it's moving higher. Don't buy it. Don't try to catch a falling knife, as they say. Don't buy in a downtick. Always buy in an uptick. That's going to give you a better entry into the stock. So I would say Boeing. I also would say Dow. Let me look at the chart for Dow. I'm going to bring that up here really quick. That's a chemical company, and that's an important Dow component only because it shows strength. It shows strength in the overall economy. It's one of the largest chemical companies, and of course, chemicals typically, if you're going to see industrials lead, you're going to see chemicals lead. So here is the chart for Dow. Currently, it closed at 45.90 today. It's down a little bit after hours, but it's holding pretty strong. There's been good volume on it, and that's also one that I think is pretty good. Now it's a lot cheaper stock. I mean, it's only 45.90 stock, which is amazing because it is a quality company. And it was up almost $2 today. You're not going to make a home run on these, but this might be a good long-term one. Another stock that's been beaten down. I think it's a little bit too early to look at what one that is Marriott. MRT is Marriott. I kind of don't like it because I think it's just the hotel occupancy isn't good enough yet. But this one's a watch list. The big problem with Marriott that I see, MAR, is that MAR is it's heavily in debt. It's got a very big debt load, and I don't like that in the stock. But again, it was up $5 a day. It's 113. So it was a shorting candidate, and it's a quality stock, but that's another one I would look for in coming up. So let's see. Those are kind of my top three for right now, anyways. Jim, I got worried about Netflix. Should I get out? Nicola, if you have money, yes, yeah, MAR has killed it. That's right. You know what? I think you should just be safe. There's look. If you've got profits, here's my point of view. I know that they say let profits run and all that. I think you should, but I think if you see any weakness in the stock, there's just so many good opportunities in here. Take your profits. That's just my take on it. I bought 47 shares for TVIX. Do I need to start holding so? Okay, let me look at what the TVIX says. The TVIX really is a hedging ETF. I don't recommend it in this market. It's just not volatile enough, really. Yeah, it's up good. Wow. And the VIX is up. So, wow, this is a really good question. At 119, 47 for 119. Okay, it's at 112. Okay, here's the thing. Let me just give you a word of advice on this one, on the TVIX. Here's what you want to do with the TVIX. You want to be out when it drops below 7% loss. So let's see, I'm just trying to do this in my head. So let's see, once you bought it at 119, so 5, so 119, 5. Okay, you want to be you really want to be out of this one. You really want to be out of this one. Using this rule, it's basically good. It's good out to 113.50. You want to sell about 113.50. It's at 112.95. Sell. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Just a quick calculation. Here's the thing, and if a stock drops more than 7%, it's not going to turn around. Don't try to be a hero. Sell it and take your losses and get into something that is moving up. That, especially in this market, there's a lot of change going on. And listen, I've been wrong so many times. It's frightening. But you want to get out when you can. That's the main thing. Hey Arnold, great. Thanks for the question. This is a question on Tesla for everybody on TikTok. Yes, I do believe Tesla is going higher. I think it may actually be $1,000 stock. It's here's the thing. Right now, Tesla is the #1 rated stock in the #1 category, which is automobiles, and it closed at $9.49. Wow, wow. And I bought it this morning at $9.16. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Wow. Yeah, I think it's going higher. I think it may go. I'm getting a little bit worried here because I do think that 969, which is now the last time I sold the last time I sold this above 900 was back in February when it came moving down, and I had my stop losses. I sold at 925, 900, and 875. I haven't seen it that high since February. I think if it exceeds 969, it's probably going much higher. By the way, the reason what spiked the price increase on Tesla today, I don't know if you know this, is that there was very good news on the Chinese production. It looks like they're coming back big on the Chinese production. So you go figure, and Tesla you can't seem to keep it down. So, Elon Musk was crying that the price was too high. The reason he was saying that, of course, is because he has options that he needs cash to exercise. That's why he's selling all of his fancy mansions and stuff to raise that capital so he could buy all those Tesla shares with his incredible option package, which I would love to have, but I don't think that's gonna happen in my lifetime. So whatever. I bought Nikola at 24 when it was listed as VTIQ, went up 100% today, and I'm up. Wow, that's awesome. Here's what I would do on that. On that Nikola, figure out what your cost basis is in that stock. If it's up more than 20, here's the 20% rule. I just want to reiterate it. If a stock goes up more than 20% and you're in a position like that, take a look at what your cost basis is in that. Let's say you originally paid $100 for the shares, and the stock now goes up to 200. Sell 100 shares of sell as much to recover all of your capital and then play with the house's money. That's a really good way to go. If you do this over a period of time, you will win. So congrats on Nikola. Awesome. And hopefully it will go even higher. So that's a killer thing. I think they're in a great space. I'm personally investing. I've personally been working with Tesla just because, I like to keep it simple. But that, they're in a great space. Electric trucks are here and they're going to be big, and that's an excellent call. Congrats. That's all I have to say. Congrats. Excellent play. Excellent play. Let's see. Limit 97. You mean okay? Do you like Turkish? I've known a lot of Turks. I think Turkey is great. I think Istanbul is a great place. All right. Bought Nikola at 24. Wow, that is so excellent. Fantastic. All right. Well, how much time have I wasted? 54 minutes. Ouch. Okay. Well, I just wanted to put this up there because I always like to, put up my stuff for my my little website. By the way, I do have alerts, and sometimes I'm actually right. Wasn't right this time. Sometimes I'm actually right on my alerts that I put out. And basically, to get my alerts, all you have to do, and I'm going to put this on the screen here. This is on YouTube and on this is on YouTube and on Periscope. It's www.dallastradingfloor.com. And I'm here. By the way, I got a visitor from Houston, Texas today. They came up and take a look at our operation. By the way, if you want to stop by, just please do. We're at the corner of Preston and McCallum in North Dallas. My number, 214-233-5087. And please sign up for our alerts at dallastradingfloor.com. And I hope to see everybody tomorrow on TikTok, which I think is great. Oh, wait a minute, I've got some more stuff. Why is the market increasing so much in the GDP? Because the market is a leading indicator. What do I mean by leading indicator? Well, a leading indicator means that the market doesn't react to what's happening right now. It reacts to what's going to happen in the future, typically 6 to 18 months in the future. So the fact that the stock market is moving up is giving us warning that we're likely for very strong recovery, because the stock market typically is a 6 to 18 month leading indicator of the rest of the economy. So let's see. Okay, how many trucks do you? How many shares do you buy? It depends. I mean, it depends on the position. I typically have 8 positions. I typically take 8 positions. For instance, I bought 100 shares of Tesla this morning for $9.16 a share. I bought 100 shares as I saw it was moving strongly, so I bought that. Now, do I always buy that many shares? Well, I usually buy in lots of 100, only because I can sell options against them in that. But I typically, trade. That's how many shares I trade. You don't have to trade that many shares. I mean, with fractional shares at Schwab, you can have a fraction of one share of Google or Alphabet. It's just amazing. I mean, so you don't have to trade as many shares as I'm trading. Really, you don't. And you get the same kind of increase. So things I'm saying for a lot of shares go for a small number of shares. Let's say you only have $500 to trade. Why not buy the very best stocks? Why not buy the Alphabets of the world, the Teslas, those kind of stocks? Why not buy those? And you can with the fractional shares. It's really great. You don't have to buy 100 shares like I'm buying. You could buy 1 share or even a half a share. It's amazing. And this is a change. This is changing the world. This is like no or low commissions. This and low or no commissions is going to open up the markets to just everybody. I think it's going to be great, but that's my opinion. I just think that, I mean, just like Jim Cramer says, I mean, the stock market is one of the greatest wealth creation vehicles for the average guy there is. And I'm living proof of that. So anyways, that's my little soapbox on there. Let's see. Okay. I don't trade those. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks again for dropping by. I'm going to put this once more up on the screen on Periscope at pscptv./Dallas Trading Floor. And this is the website, www.dallastradingfloor.com, and also youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. If you do go to YouTube, please like me. Please subscribe. And also, if you could add your name to my mailing list, I will send you out alerts, and it's all free. And you can, if you don't want to see them anymore, you can get out of the list too. So I won't bug you. That's the main thing. Thank you, man. And everybody out there, happy trading. This is going to be a great year. We're going to make some serious money, and just hold on to your seats. I just think we're just in for just a great ride, and it's only going up from here. It's just amazing, but I think that's the case. Thanks again for everybody on TikTok. I hope to see you tomorrow at 2:30. Hopefully I'll be on time this time, and good trading. See you later. And everybody on YouTube and Periscope, always a pleasure to see you. Please, if you can, go by my website. It's www.dallastradingfloor.com. Please, and if you do decide to go by and look at me on All my past issues are on all my past shows are on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. And if you do go to YouTube, please like me. Please subscribe. Do appreciate it. Again, everybody, always a pleasure. Uh, always a pleasure. And please, if you need to ask, if you want to ask questions, please do so, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability.